Beginning, the outcast of House Velnara. In the academies of Velnara Prime, status was everything. A student's caste, their lineage, the purity of their symbiotic markings. All of it determined their worth, their future, their entire identity. And by those standards, Lyra Velnara was worthless. She walked through the crystalline halls of the Royal Bioacademy with her head lowered, clutching her datapad as sneering faces followed her. Glowing bioluminescent markings, the pride of every Velnaran, shimmered brightly on the other's skin. But not Lyra's. Her markings were dim, nearly invisible, a genetic defect. To the Velnarans, whose society was built on the symbiotic bond between host and light organism, she was incomplete. "Careful, don't stand too close," mocked a violet-marked girl as Lyra passed. "She might drain your glow. Or curse you with her dimness," another added, both laughing. Lyra kept walking, fighting the sting behind her eyes. It had been like this her whole life. Mockery. Isolation. Whispers that stopped only when she walked into a room. Even her own house, one of the noble families, considered her a shame. Her father spoke to her only when necessary. Her mother didn't speak to her at all. Her siblings refused to acknowledge her existence. She was a shadowborn, as the crueler voices liked to whisper. A dim one, a nothing. But she endured. She studied harder than anyone. She outperformed students who openly mocked her. She spent nights alone in the biolabs, mastering fields her peers found impossible. But none of it mattered. Her glow, her markings, never once brightened. And so, in the eyes of her world, Lyra remained a failure. That was the day the human exchange program arrived. And everything changed. The human boy who didn't belong. Humans were new to Velnara Prime, only recently allowed entry into the academy after the Interculture Treaty. Most Velnarans considered them primitive, underdeveloped, and lacking the symbiotic organism entirely. So naturally, the students ridiculed the new arrival. Evan Carter, a 16-year-old from Earth. They mocked his plain skin, his lack of glow, his clumsy Velnaran pronunciation, his simplistic clothing. But Evan didn't react. He simply smiled, greeted everyone politely, and kept going. Lyra watched from a distance. She recognized the look in his eyes, confusion hidden behind courage. The look of someone trying desperately to belong somewhere. Anyone else might have folded, but Evan didn't. The strange part? He didn't seem to notice the insults. Or didn't care. Either way, Lyra recognized something she had never seen before. Another outsider. She found herself watching him more than she intended. He struggled with Velnaran biology. He flinched in the light-drenched hallways. He was confused by their customs. He got lost 3 times trying to find the cafeteria. But he never looked ashamed. When students bumped him, he apologized even though it wasn't his fault. When they mocked his dull skin, he laughed and said, "Well, I guess humans glow more on the inside." Some laughed at him. Others rolled their eyes. Most ignored him. But Lyra didn't. She saw a spark of something unusual, something rare, something she had never been allowed to have. Kindness. The day everything shifted. It began 3 weeks later. Lyra was leaving the biolab after a long night, exhaustion weighing down her limbs. The halls were empty. Only the soft hum of the crystalline walls accompanied her footsteps. Then she heard it. A shout. A struggle. She froze at the sound of bodies slamming into glass. "Let me go," a boy's voice cried. "Evan." Lyra hurried toward the sound. She found him in a dark corner of the hall, pinned against a wall by 3 older Velnaran students, each with bright, pulsing markings that shimmered like arrogance incarnate. The leader, Corys, sneered, his red biolights flaring aggressively. You don't belong here, human. Glowless worm. Evan, breathless but defiant, spat back. That's funny. Someone said the same thing about you in class yesterday. Corey's punched him in the stomach. Evan doubled over, gasping. Lyra's hands trembled. She knew this feeling. She knew what came next. She'd been the target too many times not to. But as she stepped forward, something unexpected happened. She spoke. Her voice cracked at first, but she forced it out. Stop. The room fell silent. Corey's turned, scoffing when he saw who it was. The dim one speaks, he mocked. Go back to hiding, Lyra. Her pulse quickened. Her palms sweated. Her markings flickered faintly, but she didn't back down. Leave him alone, she said again, firmer this time. Corey's lip curled. Or what? You'll dim the lights at us. His friends laughed. But Evan didn't. His eyes, wide, bruised, and confused, met hers. And in that moment, Lyra saw something she had never seen in anyone's eyes when they looked at her. Gratitude. She stepped closer. Corey shoved her, sending her stumbling. Stay out of this, defective. But Lyra stood back up, shaking. And Evan, struggling to speak, whispered, Don't let them talk to you like that. The words struck her harder than any shove. No one had ever defended her. No one had ever cared. No one had ever looked at her like she mattered. She stepped forward again, this time without fear. No, she said firmly. You don't get to hurt him. Corey's rolled his eyes and motioned to his companions. Fine. You want the glowless creature? Take him. He's your level anyway. He shoved Evan hard, and Evan stumbled forward, right into Lyra. She caught him. His hand brushed her arm. Her markings flared, brightly, brighter than ever. All 4 students froze. Lyra stared at her skin, glowing with radiant light she had never seen before. Evan's eyes widened. Whoa! Corey stepped back in shock. What? How? But Lyra wasn't thinking about them anymore. Her heart raced. Her skin glowed brilliantly. For the first time in her life, she felt alive. Corey's gritted his teeth, suddenly uncertain. This isn't over, he snarled before retreating with his gang. But neither Lyra nor Evan heard him. They were staring at her markings, glowing like a newborn star. What did I just do? She whispered. Evan smiled weakly through the pain. I didn't think I was contagious. She blinked at him. He blinked back, and both began to laugh. The glow didn't fade. Lyra didn't fade. For the first time in her life, she shone. Middle, the girl who wasn't dim anymore. The next morning, the entire academy was buzzing. Did you see the dim one's glow? It lit up the entire hall. How is that possible? She bonded with a human? Impossible. Lyra tried to keep her head low, but it didn't matter. Everyone looked at her, stared, whispered. For once, not with contempt, but with bewilderment. At lunch, students actually moved aside as she walked past. Her siblings stared at her like she'd become a new species. Her father even spoke a full sentence to her. What happened? Lyra didn't know what to say, because she didn't understand it either. All she knew was this. Her markings had brightened at the exact moment Evan touched her, and they hadn't dimmed since. She waited until school ended before pulling Evan aside in the empty gardens. Evan, I need to understand. He nodded. Yeah. Me too. They sat under a glowing tree, its bioluminescent leaves pulsing gently. Humans aren't supposed to bond with our symbiotes, Lyra said softly. It's biologically impossible. Evan shrugged. I don't know much about biology, but I know touching your arm didn't feel impossible. Lyra flushed slightly. That's not the point. Are you sure? He teased with a small grin. She looked away, flustered. How are you so calm about this? Evan plucked a glowing leaf and twirled it. Back home, I was the weird one too. She blinked. You? He nodded. I was small, quiet, didn't fit in. People tease what they don't understand. Lyra swallowed. She knew that feeling deeply. I guess we're not so different, she whispered. Evan nodded, then looked at her glowing markings. They're beautiful, you know. Her heart skipped. No one had ever said that. Not once. Not in her entire life. She glanced at him, this strange, awkward human boy who smiled when insulted and didn't flinch when others mocked him. He stared at her like she wasn't a defect, like she wasn't broken, like she was human. Her voice was quiet. Thank you. He smiled back. Anytime. The rising threat. But not everyone welcomed the change. Velnaran society revolved around symbiosis. Rank. Order. Heritage. If a human could trigger the glow in someone considered defective, their entire system unraveled. Rumors spread. The elders grew concerned. And House Velnara grew furious. Her father summoned her. You will stop associating with the human. Immediately. Lyra stood firm. No. His voice dropped dangerously. It wasn't a request. Then I refuse. He stepped forward, markings pulsing with anger. You are bringing shame upon this house. I have brought shame upon this house since I was born, she said bitterly. But Evan didn't shame me. He helped me. Her father's jaw tightened. You will obey. Lyra lifted her chin. For the first time in my life, I won't. She left before he could answer, and the glow on her skin brightened. The council intervention. The next day, she was summoned to the High Council. Evan too. They entered a vast crystalline chamber, stalked by glowing elders whose markings lit the room like a living galaxy. Lyra Velnara, the head elder, intoned, Do you confirm that a human initiated your symbiotic awakening? Lyra's voice shook, but she answered clearly. Yes. Gasps echoed. And you, human Evan Carter, the elder continued. Do you confirm physical contact resulted in symbiotic activation? Evan scratched his head awkwardly. Yeah, pretty much. Lyra almost laughed. The elders did not. This phenomenon must be studied, the elder declared. Separated. Analyzed. The human must be isolated. Lyra stepped forward, fists clenched. You cannot take him. It is not your decision, child. No, Evan said, stepping beside her. But it's mine. The elders looked startled. I won't be isolated, Evan said firmly. And she won't be either. Silence fell. The elders had never been challenged by humans before. Lyra's heart hammered. You ridiculed her, Evan said boldly. You cast her out. You made her feel worthless. But she's not, she's brilliant. Brave. And her glow, he gestured to her markings. It's beautiful. Lyra blinked rapidly. And if her glow chose me to bring it out, Evan continued, maybe the universe is telling you something. The elders murmured among themselves. Finally, the head elder spoke. Your bond must be tested. The final test, and the truth of the glow. Lyra and Evan were taken to the symbiosis chamber, an ancient hall of pulsating energy. In the center lay the Lumicore, the primal symbiotic matrix that governed Velnaran biological evolution. The head elder explained, if your glow is true, it will resonate with the Lumicore. If it is false, he let the thread hang. Lyra stepped forward first. She placed her hand on the core. It pulsed faintly. Then Evan placed his hand next to hers. The core reacted instantly. Light exploded outward. A wave of bioluminescence surged through the entire chamber, engulfing the elders, the walls, the city outside. Even the sky lit up. When the glow faded, the elders stood trembling. "It's impossible," one whispered. "Unprecedented," another gasped. The head elder looked at them with awe. "Your bond is real. Human and Velnaran symbiosis is not only possible, it is powerful." He turned to Lyra. "You are no longer dim." Then to Evan. "And you have changed our world." Ending. The boy who made her shine. Words spread across the planet. The outcast girl, once ridiculed for her dim markings, had awakened in a blaze of brilliance. And the human boy, awkward, soft-spoken, glowless, had changed an entire civilization. Lyra became a symbol of unity between species. Not because she sought fame, not because she wanted glory, but because one human saw her differently. Evan remained by her side, studying with her, walking through the academy halls not as an outsider, but as the boy who made the dim one shine. And the Velnarans learned a profound truth. Brightness isn't inherited. It's created, shared, ignited. One day, as they walked through the gardens, the place where everything changed, Lyra stopped and looked at him. "You know," she said softly, "if you hadn't stepped in that night." Evan smiled. "You'd still think you were dim." She smiled back, her markings glowing warmly. "And now?" He shrugged. "Now I know you're the brightest person I've ever met." Her chest warmed. For the first time, she believed it. Not because the elders said so. Not because her glow proved it. But because someone had seen her worth long before she glowed. She reached out and took Evan's hand. Their markings pulsed together, intertwining, resonating. Two outsiders. From two worlds. Bound by something neither culture had ever expected. Lyra whispered, "You changed everything." Evan squeezed her hand gently. "So did you." And under the luminous sky of Velnara Prime, the girl who was once mocked, walked beside the boy who made her shine brighter than anyone thought possible.